to another podcast. I'm Fettouhi, and just got out from work, driving home now, actually leaving work as we speak. It's still September 5th, and work has been good. You can say it's been really busy. The weather is crap because it just started raining as I walked out to my car. And yeah, nothing special. I was actually, while work, Googling a little bit, was at Joystick, and reading some news. Actually, a funny thing was that it looks like the Steam Greenlight is gonna have some restrictions, or not restrictions, but for uploading your idea, I think it was, it will cost you $100, which will go to Child's Play, which I think is fucking gay, and it rhymes on it. So I don't get it. I understand they want $100 or $50, whatever. Doesn't matter how much it really is. Small amount for them to host and all that, but giving it to Child's Play, of course, I think it's a great idea, but why Child's Play? There are so many other funds out there and organizations that need help. St. Jude's Hospital, other cancer foundations, you name it. Why Child's Play? Child's Play is just so cliche that if somebody does a marathon, wants to donate just the least amount of money for gaming, it's gonna have to be Child's Play. And those two fuckers who started Child's Play instead, and not Child's Play, but the PAX people, I really don't like them anymore, especially after the Kickstarter stunt they did, which was total bullshit. They can go fuck themselves, in my opinion. So I think that's a really lame idea. I think it would be better to, let's say you pay $100 and you choose a donation from a selective category that the $100 go to. That would be much better. I don't think it's right to lock it down on the PAX people. Of course, Child's Play does some great stuff, but I think there's other places the money can go to. You can look at the cliche on every other marathon almost, other than the speed gamers donate to Child's Play. It's just cliche. It's so lame. Think out of the box, people. Anyways, this morning I did a podcast with, I think actually I'm just to inform you, I think I'm not gonna release the morning show and this show here, or whatever you would call these two recordings here, and I'm gonna release them separately because, first of all, I think it will be too long. I think an hour is just the right amount that people want to listen to, or at least the massive amount. I think 2 hours can be a little bit too much, especially just me talking about crap while I'm driving. And it will give people to get more what was I going with this? I don't know. Actually, I was saying I'm not going to release it separately. That's why I think it's because it's going to be too long if I meld them together. And when I talk, it's going to sound weird because I'm going to talk the morning show and the daily and the evening show or recording, whatever you would call it. It's just going to be gay. Totally. I think this is much better. Or at least I hope it's better. You can give me some comments on I post the recordings, as you probably know if you're listening to it, or I post the recordings on my own website, my blog, which is, I know there's not much there, but it's just to have a place where people can go and get the episodes without having to have iTunes. Of course, I'm on iTunes also. I do not use iTunes itself. I'm totally stopped with all the Apple crap, pretty much. Still only have my iPad. I probably will get me an Android device in the near future and pretty much give Apple the finger and tell them to go fuck themselves. The only reason that I have it on iTunes, the podcast, is because it's the most popular place. So there's pretty much nowhere else to go other than hosting it yourself, which I am hosting all the podcast stuff. It's just links. I could be on Stitcher or something like that. You can watch it there. I don't know. Actually, maybe I should be on Stitcher. I don't know. Probably going to pay me cost me a shitload of money to get on Stitcher. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I actually don't know if I'm on Stitcher, just automatically would be on iTunes. I don't know. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about games. Or no, let's wait. Actually, read another news that Torchlight is going to be out soon. Torchlight 2 actually. Torchlight, it's been on Steam forever. Torchlight 2 should have been out this summer. It's not out yet. It's coming September late September, maybe next week, October, I think. It's pretty close. They finally announced it. Nobody knows why. It's a Diablo clone. Actually, it's the people behind Diablo 1. Or some of the people from the old Diablo team. So, yeah, that's looking awesome. We're close to the Borderlands 2 release, which is sold out separately. Separately, it's not sold out separately. What the hell am I talking about? It's sold out pretty much everywhere if you want the limited edition or collector's edition or the bobblehead edition. I'm really tired of seeing. I'm a collector's edition fan. I like paying some extra to get collector's editions where I get some swag with it. The problem is that first of all, there's like 19 editions now, country-based. It's got different DLC and everything, and if you want the biggest one, you pretty much can't because there's no biggest one. It's just different. GameStop has their own equal special DLC. Game.co.uk needs to have one. Amazon needs to have one. Fuck, everybody needs to have a special edition. And the consumer is just like, well, all the DLC that you pretty much get in each of these collector's editions are awesome. The problem is that it will never be fucking released to the consumer in the end. You will not be able to buy these. The only game that I've seen this done with, where they said the GameStop exclusive DLC is going to be released for free on a digital download from our store, was Infamous. That's the only game I've seen it on. I think it either was Infamous or Infamous 2, where you can, I think it was Infamous, where you can actually download at the Sony store the DLC that was only included in the pre-order of GameStop Infamous edition, which is not, of course, a collector's edition, but still, it says a lot about that. The DLC thing is going way over it. Just look at if you look at, for instance, one thing is that there's free collector's editions of, or free editions of Borderlands, but there's 4 editions of Assassin's Creed free. There is the limited special edition, which has the steel case, some DLC. There is the Freedom edition, which has the statue and some DLC. And then there's the Join or Die edition, which is, the Freedom edition is GameStop exclusive only. The Join or Die edition is Amazon and some of the other gaming companies, HVM, and all the smaller companies. Not everyone, just to say, so you will not be able to get it. Let's say Target probably. I don't think Target will, but we don't have Target over here anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not every retailer that's going to have it. Some retailers will only get access to the 1 edition or the standard edition. And the problem is with the Join or Die edition, it will not have a statue, but it would have a metal emblem of the Assassin's Creed emblem, which I think is pretty cool, and I want both, but I don't want to get 2 fucking copies of the game. Or at least the DLC is almost, I think there's 1 difference in the DLC. So with that you can't get everything. It's just going to cost you. You have to buy the games 2 times or something, or maybe buy it afterwards, the emblem on eBay, for the same amount as the game. They're not going to have a swag store. I know Ubisoft has that, but it's not going to have the emblem, because then the retailer is going to be pissed that you're selling the emblem separately, and then blah blah blah. And Ubisoft is just, it's amazing. With if you look at Ubisoft's, after Assassin's Creed hit off, especially the second one, Brotherhood, Revelations, the limited editions of them are massive. There's been 2 or 3 country-based, not the same DLC. Some of them are not even been able to get in other countries. It's all bullshit. I hate that. Region locking everything is just pissing people off and will only hurt the consumer. You will not get a satisfied customer, or you're not, in no way, if you can't buy things that you want to, just because you live in a different country. It's just totally insane. With internet shopping, web shopping being so popular, actually, it's like, I think it's almost, I think it's over 300% over the year, that, or more probably. I'm just guessing a little bit here, but I know it's high. The increase in shopping on the web. So why the hell is it such a big problem for the companies to sell their product just because it's not out in the other region? They still get the fucking money. So yeah, it's just insane. But let's talk games now. Guild Wars, we were still on that this morning, and what the hell was I talking about? It's been so busy today that I don't know where I stopped. I know that I was talking about crafting, and I might repeat myself, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned that if you Google a crafting Guild Wars, you will get an excellent video where a person will guide you through how crafting works. And I told you a little bit about that you need a salvage kit, and depending on what level of salvage kit you buy, you have better chance of getting better salvage and or rare item out of the salvage item. at the moment, there is. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna have to get out this roundabout here before somebody kills me in here. As I was saying, or as a salvage kits, after there are these professions you have, from what I know, there's plenty. There's pretty many of them. I think there's weapon and armor smith, there's tailoring, there's artifice, there's jewel crafting, cooking, and I think there's one more. And the rest I can't remember actually, if there's more of that. But I think I told you I chose for my character. I chose weaponsmithing and tailoring. I think no, I said tailoring. Well, anyways, I chose tailoring to make bags. The thing is that you get the materials from either gathering, which you gather with your axe pick if you're mining, your axe, your pick if you're mining, your axe if you're harvesting wood, or if you're gathering ingredients from the ground, plants and vegetables and stuff like that you find on your way. You use a sigil, whatever it's called, I can't remember. Those three are also in specific, what's it called, specific levels. I think that you can upgrade to level 10 item from copper to iron pick. It's just copper, then goes to up to iron stuff. It's a little bit more expensive, but I don't know if actually it's the bonuses or if it's meant for, let's say, because it doesn't, from what I've read on the description, the tooltip, it doesn't say that it gives you a better chance on getting a special item or rare item out of this gathering you're doing. I don't know that, but I think it's actually recommended for higher tier gathering. I know the next one is the one that you get after copper is iron, I think, or at least it's something. I think it's steel. It's later in the game, anyways. But from that, you can upgrade those, of course, and they are. You can't. It's not like you buy one of them and it has. You use it. It has a durability on them. I think picks, axes, and picks have 100, and the sigil has around 50, I think. So you gather these items, but on top of that, you also find things of mobs. For instance, cloth, hides for leather. Oh, leatherworker was also one of them. Diamonds, things to make insignias, for instance, a chipped tooth or something like that. And you combine that shit, and you will get some. You will, of course, what's it called? You will smelt, of course, the copper into copper bars and all that. And through that, of course, make, if it's a weapon, you will make a hilt, you will make a blade, through either wood or metal, depending on what type of blade you're trying to make, or weapon actually. And you have these recipes after you chose a proficiency. You can have two. You can't switch them on the fly. But the problem is you will lose your level, because you gain XP while you craft. Doesn't matter what, but at some point it will, of course, be trivial for you, and you will not get XP for this type of item you're trying to make, because it's too trivial. So, anyways, but it has levels also, so you of course have to be, for instance, to craft level 15, 10, and 15, to craft level 15 items, you will, you will, for level, to craft level 10 items and 10 and above, you will have to at least have a skill level of weaponsmithing for 25. So there are some levels there. I don't remember how many there is. I think 400 or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Just like in World of Warcraft. It just takes a lot more to get a level, to get 1 point up, because the bar has to be filled up, and not every what's it called? Every item will give you a full bar. It will give you X amount of XP, so it's actually an XP bar you have to fill up to get 1 point or 1 level up. So yeah, it's pretty hard to get it up. So they did something else, because you can't buy recipes, but they're fucking expensive, and the recipes you can buy at the moment are minimum, at least for weapons, level 125 and above. So you need 125 level of weaponsmithing, for instance. So how the hell do you find other recipes? Well, you have a discovery tab. This discovery tab, it's actually pretty simple, even though it's just like, well, you have the ingredients, you make some stuff out of these ingredients, then you put them together, and maybe there will come something out. But it's actually pretty easy. What you do is, say you want to make a sword. For making a sword, you need copper. You have a shitload of copper, you refine it, and after that you make a sword hilt and a sword blade. Now, for every sword you will need an insignia. These insignias can be made from different types of material you find out there. You'll pretty much see them mostly from mobs. These insignias for instance, can be made for power, healing, and stuff like that, and a healing insignia. After that, you can actually go to the Discovery tab, because it will say, for instance, to make a sword you need this type of insignia, but if you, for instance, have another insignia, you could combine it with a blade. Just because it says you need this insignia, if you have another insignia, try to combine it. And that will give you a discovery, and you will get the recipe, you will of course get the item. There's no fail in it. It looks like every time you make it, you have the items, there's no percentages of, well, this will go wrong. I've tried it a couple times, I have never ever failed at it. When you try it, it will say that you will put, there's like 4 or 5 slots depending on if you're weaponsmithing or armor smithing or whatnot. It will have some slots, and then you will put the items you want to try to put together, and the system is made so good, that so smart, that it will say, well, you're onto something here. If you just add a little bit more of something, you can combine this. So it's not like, well, just combine this crap here, click, and you will get something or nothing. You can only combine stuff that's actually combinable. So if you don't have everything, it will not let you try to combine stuff. But with that, you can, for instance, get axes of power, axes of healing, swords of healing, because you can do this over and over again. And instead, what he says in the what's it called, the guide, if you find it, can't remember the guy's name. It's just like, it was one of the first one on YouTube. anyways, if you find um, if you find a recipe and you discover it and all that, it's actually, instead of grinding this to get XP, because of course it will maybe be red for you, or if it's red, it's actually not, you can't make it because you're too low level. You can't have recipes that actually are too low level to make, but you know them. But you will actually be able to, of course, afterwards make this item, because it will be a recipe. And so you would get an item, you would get a recipe, and you would get, of course, for making the item, and a bonus. That can be around 300 XP plus 300 XP on top of it. That's plus making the item. There's a lot of bonuses involved. He does a calculation, for instance, saying, and that's from making the items till making the discovery of the new item. That could be, for instance, make a sword hilt, make a sword blade. Through that you will get maybe 500 XP. On top of that, you will of course make an insignia. That's maybe 200 more. On top of that, you will discover a new item through this insignia combination, because you don't have the recipe. And through that you will get maybe 600 on top of that, plus 500 or 600 on top of that for discovery. So you might around 800 or 900, 1800 XP points in total. And if you then do the same thing again and just use the recipe, maybe you won't get 1200. So it's actually, you can actually grind a lot faster and level a lot faster up using the discovery function, because when you discover a new recipe, the bonuses, XP bonuses, are so huge that it's only a benefit to do this. Just discover, mess around with it, experiment the shit out of it, and you will actually gain a lot more levels faster than actually just making items. Of course, if you don't have for instance, insignias and also other stuff, excuse me, it will of course be hard to get, but trust me, do a lot of events, gather up. If you choose weaponsmithing and armor smithing, make sure that you have an eye in the corner for your map, because you will want to take every mine there is out there. As soon as you see one, get to it, harvest it. The great thing about this system, every mob, every kill, everything is separately. So for instance, if you remember in World of Warcraft and everything else, if you harvest a mine, for instance, copper mine, for instance, it will disappear afterwards, and another person can't do that, go and harvest it, or he will have to wait to respawn, and the mine will not spawn there again. So it's a fucking pain in the ass, because you will run and try to compete in gathering up. So for instance, World of Warcraft, you will see those farmers farming the shit out of copper, steel, iron, steel, and all that crap, just to get to level 400, or get 400 points in their smithing or whatnot they're gathering. Here it's different. If some person is mining, he's only mining for himself. He will get his own loot. You will be able to go ahead and loot that mine also and get your share of it. Then it will disappear for you, which is fine by you, so you know you don't have to go there again, but it will still be available for everybody else. So it's really, really easy to find and gather material. You're not competing with people. Mobs is a different thing. You will of course be able to, well, it depends on how much damage you get, because another person can still, I think another person can still kill the mob and then get his part of the loot. I think loot is also separately, because I for instance help people out and I get my own loot, and I don't know if I'm mob stealing, but I don't think you can in it. So I think I'm 99.9% sure that's the same thing with mobs. So you have to correct me on that. Tweet me if I'm mistaken on that. I actually remember now. If you wanna play with me, hook me up on Twitter. I'm on a server called Pinkin Square, something with P. I'm definitely 100% sure the last name of it is Square. It's a European server, medium crowded. No jackasses from what I've seen. There's really not. There's a lot of people talking, but there's when you revive people and all that, people say thank you and all that. Everybody helps out. It's a decent experience. There's no like. I'm on a server, for instance, on Star Wars: The Old Republic, where people just are. I stopped listening to the chat because, for God's sake, people are just. I've reported so many people on that on that game. Total douchebags. Everybody almost. Just like talking about KKK racism and whatnot. Total fucked up people. I saw somebody who was actually saying that everybody should die and was agreeing with the guy who did the Colorado shooting. It was just like fucking insane people are out there. It's just, why the hell do they play this game and pay for it? That's the weird part of it. Total fucked up. I haven't seen that yet on this game. It's still early, so everything can happen. Let's talk a little bit about the UI. I don't want to spoil everything for you, but I hope you get the gist of the game so far. Go to the wiki page, see a lot of the IGN videos. It's easy. It's decent information. If we talk about the UI is pretty okay. It's standard. Standard World of Warcraft, pretty much. You have your 10 buttons down there. You don't need a shitload of buttons. You can pretty much be guaranteed that you can be able to do it with your 10 numbers. You don't need to hold shift down and all that. So far, at least. The tabs are movable. There's a map. Some people the world map. Some people have been annoyed that it's not transparent and you cannot move while you're in that in the world map view. That's bullshit. But because you just can't do it with your mouse. You can do it with your keyboard. So ASWD, if you use that, you will be able to move around. You will see your cursor on the what's it called, on the map, move around, and you will be able to navigate. Of course, you will not be able to see what the hell you're walking into, but you will be able to move around. So it's actually possible. So I don't know why people are mad about that. I use the world map pretty sparsely, actually. Just small things. Just to know where the next events are. Maybe teleporting around for quick travel, which is pretty cool. You can do it from anywhere, but only to areas where to specific spawn places where you have visited. It's pretty cool. It costs a little bit of money, but it's actually worth it. So far, only copper. I think long distance is probably going to cost you more. Anyways, there are some things that I want to tell you a little bit about that you might want to consider. For instance, there is an auto loot function in the UI that in General's tab on options that I will definitely recommend that you turn on in this game, because the action button in this game is the F key, which is just next to the D key, of course, which makes it pretty easy to just do things. But the great thing about this, sorry, excuse me, is actually that. Well, the problem is at the moment, if you, for instance, harvest the thing, you go over to, for instance, mine and you harvest it, you will not automatically loot actually the harvested part. It will just say, well, you just dug up 4 copper pieces, copper ore, but you need to take it. And I've actually, multiple times before I actually found this option, walked away without actually getting my loot. So I can run back, get the loot, harvest it again, then click 4 times on the loot on the right side of the screen to actually take it. This gets fucking annoying. I think when I hit F, I want to be able to say, well, I want to click F again for just looting it or auto loot it. So since the F again button is not an option, turn on auto loot. It makes the world of difference that you can just go ahead and harvest. It takes, as soon as you harvest one thing, it will put it in the bag and all that, and do the things automatically like you would expect it to. But it doesn't out of the box. So hit that option. The other option that I would recommend is that since this is an MMO, turn on the watch. The time actually, we probably call it. I would call it a watch, but turn on the time on the screen so you can actually see what time it is. Because I found out that I have been messing around a lot. I found, but suddenly 2 hours were gone in my life. So, and there's no auto thing in it, and it will actually show it only in the bottom right corner of your map, the mini map you have in the bottom right. So you definitely need to turn it on, and you will actually, it's not like visible like in World of Warcraft where it's actually at the top right corner, it's down right corner. So I don't know if you can actually move it, but it's not turned on automatically, so that's another function I'm definitely recommending. For inventory, I will say that there are some things that you need to know, in my opinion, because again, as I told you this morning, that inventory is pretty, depending on how many bags you get your hands on, from the start you don't have much space, and if you start harvesting from level 1/level 2, I think you're level 2 when you actually get out to the open areas. After you did your intro quest, you will pretty much run out of space instantly. And it's actually not the problem with your getting loot and have to sell it. It's actually like, well, you are harvesting, you are mining, you are getting insignia stuff from mobs, and you just can't throw it away if you want seriously just want to craft. And crafting is the way to go, because item drops, suddenly item drops can be pretty awesome. You can get magical items. I've seen magical item drop multiple times, weapons and stuff like that, but armor is just not something that just drops out. And quest rewards are not something that grows on trees either. So crafting is the way to get stuff that you need, or buy it. And since you are not, money grows on trees, you have to rely on crafting, or you will have to rely on your money to buy virtual money in this game here, which you can do. So I'm just saying that, but there are some options you can do. In first of all, if you have bags, the standard UI will show you the 20 slots for your standard starter bag. Then it will show the next bag and then slots there. This gets fucking annoying. Just like World of Warcraft, it will show you the bag each where. And it's just like, why do I want 10 bags on my screen? Give me one big fat bag with the amount of slots that I have available. You can set that. Just right click on the option wheel and switch the option on. I think it's either in, yeah, I think it's in Was it in General tab or in the Options tab? I can't remember. There's two options. No, I think it was actually in the chat. If you open the inventory, there's an Option tab where you can do some stuff, and there's also the General tab for the option. So there's two places you can. I can't remember where, but you can do that. Really great built-in. I switched over to that, so I only have the slots available. I don't care if it's in bag 5. I put the item. I just want to be able to see all my slots, and that's it. So that's the way to go, in my opinion. The other thing is that you have an insane amount of space in your bank, and have for trophies, for consumables, and all that. And it will actually have an option. If you open your inventory, go up to the option wheel and hit the deposit trophies or deposit. It says deposit collectibles. It will take everything that you need. You don't actually need right now. For instance, weapons and salvage stuff and all that. It's actually pretty much the materials that you need to get to craft. It will take it and put it away. That will actually maybe after a while make 10 slots available. And it's not like you're selling it, it's actually throwing it into your bank. So when you get to your crafting, your crafter, and get to a crafting station, you will have access to this. You will. One thing that's pretty stupid is that if you don't know you have these options, just click on it. You think, well, shit, did it just disappear? Because I thought I lost everything. So I found out that I actually have these bank slots in at my crafter. So if you get to a crafting station, you have a couple of other tabs where you actually get to your bank and all of that. And the bank is shareable on all characters, just FYI. So through this, you will actually be able to manage your space a lot better. So if you, for instance, take your main bag and buy four 4 slots bags, you're pretty good to go. You can get along. And the gay thing is that, for instance, and it's the same with Swotor, if I remember correctly. Yeah, or do I? No, that's the difference with Swotor. Swotor will let you craft with the items that you have in your bank. This will not let you. You will have to put those back in your main inventory to craft with it, which is totally fucked up. The even gayer thing, which is gay in Swotor, when you take an item on and dismantle it, like salvage it, for instance, in Guild Wars terms, it will get in your bag and not be thrown into your bank. That's some issues that could be fixed pretty easily. Maybe I do understand, but the option definitely is awesome that you can salvage stuff and then throw it in your deposit in your collectibles bank with just a click instead of having to run back to a town. So those are pretty awesome things that you can do. Let's see here. What other UI are there? There's short keys. Well, the short keys are pretty simple. I for inventory, H for hero, and all that will you be able to do trades, weapon skills, and all that. You will actually be able to see what weapons you can use. Of course, it will instantly say mark red. Another thing that's also really great, that if you are in your inventory, you want to equip the weapon, the best thing is actually just instead of opening your inventory, just open your hero tab, and it will send you to your hero where you can see all the slots you have armor in and your weapons in, and it will also see all the things that you can put in. It will show you all your weapons and all your armor pieces. and rings and all that crap and trinkets that you can put in these slots. So it will not show you your whole inventory. It will show you the inventory part that's actually relevant, which is really great. There's nothing more annoying than having to find your weapon in a mass of crap that you have in your inventory. So that's a pretty awesome function. Also, because you will have a lot of weapons, that's for sure. Right now I'm happy with my two-handed sword and a sword in one hand and a shield in the other. I am thinking about switching over to a two-handed hammer because it has some other stats, some other buffs. I'm still trying to figure out what good combinations there's out there because, again, as I said, doing the switch between those two weapons is the way to get the more skills, the buffs, the use all the combinations that you actually can kill an enemy faster and all that. For instance, I found out that with a two-handed staff, I actually can become a little bit of a healer and do some AoE damage also. So instead of using a two-handed sword, so there's a difference. Yeah, what else is there about the game? Oh, I'm thinking, I was thinking, because yesterday I was in a mine, walking around doing an event. I was actually saw an engineer, is the proficient prof called, and it looked pretty cool because he was dual wielding two guns, just blasting an enemy to pieces. It's called the proficient. Actually, I just remember the prof for the skill crafting prof is called Huntsman. Makes bows and stuff like that and weapons. And it looks like what his specialty is two-handed guns like rifles, and then two-handed and then dual wielding guns. I think he can use a dagger or something like that. Looks pretty interesting. I think I'm gonna go home today when I get home in about 20 minutes, maybe so, and try actually to make a character in that without deleting the other one. I'm pretty satisfied with my Guardian so far. Just to see what the hell he's about, because the Magician is just like, at the moment I just don't want to play it. I want to play a damage dealer of some kind. Having a little bit of fun with that, maybe ranged, because yeah, it sounds like fun. It sounds fun. I like blowing up stuff. So that's pretty much it for Guild Wars. Darksiders 2 status is that there's still no patch out. It's pissing people off. It's pissing me off. I will get back to that game as soon as I get some more time. Maybe this weekend I will sit in my chair and actually start playing it again. Yeah. What else is there? There's no new news on Kickstarter. The Greenlight the Greenlight stuff we already talked about. Let's see here. I'm thinking. Actually, yeah, I was actually watching some, what's it called? A couple of videos about, not about, but I saw a video. Chase has been doing, if you know Chase from the Speed Gamers, he's been doing a lot more. He has his channel there. I actually watch one of them. He plays like mini games, flash games at the moment, because at least what he told me was that he needs some other games, some distance from Dota 2 and all the competitive stuff. So he's doing flash games. I actually saw his last game. something called with crates. You have to survive and gather crates. Laughing my ass off, actually, because he was getting so mad. It wasn't actually helping his temper at all, and I know the feeling. That it was pretty fun. Actually, we can talk a little bit about movies. Actually, what I've been seeing right now is actually I'm on the King of Queens run right now. Just started from season 1 and trying to get through all the 9 seasons there is. I finished, or actually doesn't finish. I watched Anger Management also with Charlie Sheen, which is actually pretty fun. 2.5 Minutes is of course on vacation and waiting for the next season to start, and probably half a year or so. This Burn Notice is the same problem. Futurama is going pretty well, but it's still lame that it's only half a season we get each year, and then we have to wait so long before it. And the deal, I don't know if it's the deal with Comedy Central, but it's just like, yeah. That's the way it is. I stopped watching Simpsons because we are on the 23rd season, and I just can't. There's been so many reruns, and watching that from point A to point B is just like, that's a punishment. And almost. I know Simpsons is great, but that's just too many. It will take you half a year watching an episode each day. A couple of episodes each day, so I'm not doing that. American Dad, I haven't really been watching. Family Guy sucks ass because it's just Seth MacFarlane. He doesn't know what he wants to do, and the same with what the hell is the name of, not Quagmire, what's the guy, the black guy's name? It's yeah, you know what I mean. The other series, there was a spin-off because they, what's it called? Oh, it doesn't matter. It sucks also. There's only one great episode, which is the episode where Clint Eastwood shoots his own nuts off. That's hilarious. As of movies, I watched The Warrior a couple of weeks ago. Great movie. I've watched The Dark Knight. Also okay movie. I'm gonna go watch at some point, probably this weekend, maybe. I'm gonna go watch Expendables 2. And why the hell are there so many people here? Yeah. And I'm also gonna go watch Brave, actually, which also actually looks pretty interesting. So yeah, that's so far the game. Total Recall I saw, it's actually a okay movie. The whole thing with what's it called? The old Total Recall is as if people wonder why the new Total Recall has nothing to do with Mars, is because that if you know the book, or actually it's not a book, it's a short novel, or short story actually, short novel, short story. It has nothing to do with Mars, and that's why the new Total Recall is based on the book instead of transcription of the book, where they took some of the ideas. Because the only thing that he mentions of about Mars, and he does that in the movie, is that he wants to go there. That could be cool. So that's the only thing he talks about Mars, and in the book, so that's why they took that probably with some dope and drank a lot and made that manuscript and made Austrian guy play the main role. The movie is great, but it's just like I actually have the short story. Haven't read it totally yet. Still need to get that done also. But it's just like I don't see how the hell you can get Total Recall. The first movie, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't see that anywhere near what it. The only thing I see that he's running, he doesn't know where he is, who he is, and they're trying to mess with his brain. Is he still at recall and all that? So those are the similarities between the movie, and there's a resistance, and there's a corporation that wants to, or a government that wants to take control of the whole thing because of profit. So that's the similarities between the movies. Rest is just like, yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Of course, there's others, but that's the main gist of it. But I think both movies are great. Some of them I like the older one better, not because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe it's because it's Sharon Stone. I don't know. Some of the choice some of the choices made back there. If you watch it, watch the scene where he dies on Mars for the first intro to the. Come on, jackass, move it. If you watch the opening scene to the first Total Recall, it's just you really watch and just listen to what the hell is happening, and Arnold's acting with dying. It sounds hilarious, especially if you know all the Arnold impressions out there. Get to the chopper and all that crap. It's just hilarious. I can't stop laughing actually when I see that scene. So yeah. But all in all, it's a great movie. I think some people are a little bit, let's say, what's it called? The comparisons are. I think you're treating the other movie a little bit more unfairly. But yeah, jackass. People can't drive these days. So what do you want? Come on, move it. Thank you. But it's funny if you look at Metacritic. I think it's 50 or something. A lot of movies lately don't get above 70. Only if it's like somebody bare-assed, it's black and white and nobody talks and you have to read the whole thing. Then it gets like 99. But if it's a decent movie with a story and actually pretty entertaining, it gets 30. It's total bullshit. I don't get critics. And I don't get why a mute movie actually, or a silent movie actually, it's called a silent movie, gets so much appreciation, but it's been done. And just because it hasn't been done in 40 years or so, it has to be Oscars and stuff like that. Of course, probably people are acting, but, well, I don't know. Chaplin won, of course, acting also, but yeah. I don't know. I'm not an expert, I'm just saying. It's just strange, and people are definitely flaming games, movies, music, way too much these days, instead of just leaving it alone. So guys, I just drove into the parking area. I'm almost home. A couple seconds. So again, it's been fun driving from work. And hopefully this time it has recorded, because I feel stupid talking to myself for an hour. So we're gonna figure that out, but it should have enough power to actually have been recording. So turn off the engine, and until next time, bye.